Alright, we're here to talk about Agile and Scrum. Um, and basically, I'm just going to give you kind of a quick no BS version of how to do the system step by step. So basically, you take a board. This board has to be visible by the entire team at any given time. So you put it in a very centralized place. It might be online. It might be in person. If you have an in-person team, you just make sure the board is in a place that your entire team can see. Is very visible at any given point in time. You just go ahead, you divide it into 4 columns, right? And you have basically it would typically be backlog, right? Technically it should be backlog or whatever. But people who are new to Agile aren't going to understand all the technical terms, so I'm going to simplify it in something that you're more familiar with, something that's more workable for you. So basically, I'm just going to have to-do items on column 1. I'm just going to call column 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? So to keep things nice and simple. So you basically, the idea of this board is you're trying to take things from the left side of the board all the way to the right side of the board, and that's how you basically have you complete things. Basically every so-called sprint, which is a period you define, it could be a week or it could be 2 weeks. I don't recommend it longer than 2 weeks because people start to lose focus, but it's supposed to be these ideas of releasing over and over quickly, right? You're basically coming into this process. You want to have this kind of circular kind of quick release cycle. You don't want to have a long long cycle where you're building, and then finally you release it to a customer, and then they're like, oh, I hate it. And then you're back to the drawing board. No, if you're going to go back to the drawing board, you do it every week or 2 weeks, right? That's a sprint. So if you're going to come back to the drawing board, make sure it's a week or 2 weeks, and it's like a constant thing until you get everything done. So you basically have a huge bunch of to-do items in the left-hand side that for example, if we're opening a lemonade stand, I'm going to use lemonade stand as an example. You're going to need to say squeeze lemons is one of them, right? Squeeze lemons, whatever, right? But this is not how you use the board. I'm just doing that to illustrate. So basically the board, you're going to use sticky notes. I don't have sticky notes on me at the moment, so I'm just going to need to use your imagination. So imagine that these pieces of paper are sticky notes. So I'm just going to... But it's going to be good enough to show you technically how to go from the left column to the right column. And as a worker in this system, you're going to need all your workers in the system to follow the system to completion, right? Each of these tasks, you're going to have a huge bunch of to-dos in the left column that need to be taken all the way to the done state, right? So at the beginning, so first let's determine we're going to go and determine the most important thing. Number 1, how long is your sprint? Is it going to be a week or 2 weeks? You decide that, or is it going to be longer? Which I don't advise, but it's up to you. So you determine when is your sprint? Is it going to be every 2 weeks? You just put that on your calendar. So what you're going to do is you're going to negotiate for, okay, in this sprint, in this period, the week or 2 week period, what items go into the to-do? What are all the items that go into the first bucket 1, right? And then during that entire sprint, we just go focus on taking everything we can out of the to-do and move it to the done, right? As individual, however big your team is, right? So next you need to schedule. The next step in your to-do list is as a manager is to say, okay, every single day at the exact same time the team is going to meet. And if you're on multiple coasts, if you're East Coast, West Coast, you have some workers in India, you have some workers in Bangladesh, in Russia or something like that. Doesn't matter, or you wherever across the world. You have workers in China, you have workers in Japan, whatever. Doesn't matter. You have to find some time that everybody can meet at the same time, right? Even if it's just quickly. And that meeting is going to be the stand-up. You should be scheduled for 30 minutes, hopefully less, right? And it's called stand-up because everybody's supposed to conduct this meeting standing up, right? You don't want people sitting down, even if they're remote. Get everybody to stand up for the meeting, right? To physically stand up, because you don't want people talking for on and on and on. You want people to just say, what are you working on today? Get it done within 30 seconds, move on to the next person. So that's what stand-up is. It's basically a status update. What is stand up? You're gathering people every single day at the same time, and all you're trying to do is say, this is what I'm working on. This is what's not going right, or this is what's going right, and I need some help. These are the things I'm stuck on. I need some help from the team. I'm blocked on this. And so that is the period where you basically give a status update to everybody, and you ask for help during that time. Hey, if you're stuck on something, that's where you ask for help. So let's say and then actually let me go over the overview before I dive into the details of that. So that's so every day you say, I'm working on this, right? There'll be a bunch of things in the progress under your name, and then you have to and eventually, you get somebody else is going to verify your work, and then after that person, after verifying your work, is going to move it to the done column. So so the process is okay, let's say, for example, squeeze lemons, right? The task is to squeeze. You would actually never. I know that this isn't parlance for you have to write things in stories, but it's going to be too foreign for neophytes to understand what this is. So I'm just to illustrate the point, what this process is. I'm just gonna say, this is a task which is to squeeze lemons, right? And basically, at the beginning of your sprint, you would basically have a bunch of these to do things, and you'd basically go with the rest of the team. You would say how long is it gonna take to squeeze the lemons? Well, every day it's gonna take to squeeze these lemons. It's gonna let's say we're opening a lemonade stand, and every day we need to squeeze these lemons. So what's gonna happen is we got 50 lemons to squeeze every single day, and it's gonna take maybe a minute or two per lemon. So it's gonna take me I don't know, let's say a worst case scenario, 2 minutes to lemon, and I have 50 lemons, so it's gonna be a 100 hours or something like that. Now you would also never use hours, but that's besides the point. For the sake of simplicity, for this example, we will use hours because it's just easy to understand for now. Okay, so you would write down the estimate as a team. You would get everybody to go through one at a time to give their input on how long they think it's going to take. Get everybody to give their input, because you don't want to have the manager determine. This is very important, by the way. You don't want to have the management tell people how long things are going to take. Because you will not get people to buy into that idea. People are gonna, they're gonna hate you, and they're gonna revolt eventually. You want to get people to take responsibility, to step up to the plate, and to take part in this. So, to say, so as a team, you got consensus that it's gonna take 100 hours. So this is gonna sit here. So the sprint has started. Okay, sprint has started. It's Monday now. Okay, today. Okay, who's gonna take this? So you want to gather your team. Everybody's gathering. And then of course everybody's free. So okay, person A, Jonathan or Jenny or whatever. What are you working on today? Oh, nothing. Okay, so you need some work. Yeah, I need some work. So you take something out of the what do you want to take out of? What do you want to work on today? Oh, the squeeze lemons. I want to do squeeze lemons. I'll squeeze the lemons. So I'll take the ticket out of here. I'll put my name in there, my initials. So I'm gonna be let's say my name is John Smith, right? So I'll put JS here, right? John Smith on the ticket, right? And so everybody knows that I'm taking responsibility of this task. So I stick it into in progress until it's done. Now there's two scenarios that can happen, right? Either something goes wrong or nothing goes wrong. So let's say that let's start with happy scenario first. Nothing goes wrong. So and I complete this entire thing. So let's say that I'm done, and it's done. I finished in 80 hours instead of the 100. Okay, I finished in 80 hours instead of the 100. So I'm gonna move that into the verify. Somebody has to verify my squeeze, the work that I've done, to say that it actually that I did squeeze the lemons to produce we need to produce 100. I don't know however many. Let's say 1,000 cc's. I don't even know how much that is, but 1,000 cc's of lemon juice, right? LJ. I need to produce so many cc's of lemon juice, right? So somebody is going to verify that so many cc's were produced, right? Somebody's going to come in and inspect it and say, okay, it's John Smith. I see that you've. Let me see. Okay, let's look at the juice here. Let's measure it. Okay, looks like we're a little short. We're a little short. We don't have enough. So if we don't have enough, we're going to move it from the verify. They're going to kick it back into the in progress. So I'm going to continue squeezing until I've met the criteria. Okay, it's met the criteria. Okay, I'll put it back in the verify. and the inspector comes again, takes another look, and say, okay, it looks like you've met the criteria. Okay, great. So that inspector or verifier is going to move it to the done column, and now you're officially done with that one story or task or whatever, and that is considered done. And then the cycle repeats. You come back, you find another thing to do, blah 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 blah, move it. Now, what happens if something goes wrong, right? What happens if something goes wrong? So you're in progress, and the machine breaks down. The whole machine is broken down, and you can't squeeze lemons anymore, and you're stuck. Okay, well, typically, you get a different color post-it note. So during stand-up, you say, guys, teams, hey everybody, bad news, the machine broke down, I can't squeeze the lemons, and we're having trouble producing the juice. Okay, so how do we solve this problem, right? So you have to coordinate with the rest of the team. How do we solve this problem? We need to unblock this ticket. So if this ticket is blocked, we have to denote that it's blocked somehow. Typically, you put like a different color post-it here, and you put it here, right? So you might even have an extra column. Some people have an extra column for blocked items, right? So you might move it off to the side, right? Or you might just leave it in here, but you denote it as blocked. That's up to you how you want to do it, but it has to be perfectly visible that it's blocked, right? Now, let's say the solution to this, to the broken machine, is that you have to buy a new machine, right? Now, so buying a new machine, right? Buy machine. So this ticket is blocked by this ticket, right? Right. So now somebody has to take responsibility for this. So I'm gonna put Jenny. I'm gonna put Jenny is gonna go buy the machine, right? Jenny steps up to buy the machine. Okay, so it's in progress, and this ticket is blocked by this ticket, right? So everybody knows that there's a dependency here, right? So if you were doing some kind of software, you would link these two tickets together. This is blocked by this ticket. So now it's just when you would know that this is a requirement for this to complete. And you would also give your time estimation. It's going to take me 4 hours to go to the store. I got to buy it, pick it up, and bring it back. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, the machine is bought. Okay, let's move it into verify. Is it the right machine? So somebody's going to come in here to say, is that the right machine? It's going to work for us. They're going to try it, and they're going to plug it in, test it, turn it on, try to squeeze one lemon. And okay, it looks like it squeezes the lemon just fine, and it works. It's not a broken machine. Okay, great. We're going to move to the done column. Now this is back into play. We're going to take it off block because it's not blocked anymore. Now it's back into play, and we're back into the process. Now let's go through something that happens a lot in teams is that people argue over BS. People are going to argue and argue and argue during stand-up, and that's not supposed to happen. Stand-up meetings are for giving your updates. You should give your update in 30 seconds and maximum 1 minute. But some people will just talk on for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes about some stuff. The person who's in charge of this Scrum meeting, typically it's going to be a Scrum master, right? Project manager, if you will. Somebody has to be there conducting and making sure everybody's on track and not spending too much time talking about their dog or something like that. So let's say 4 of the people doing the work have started to argue about what kind of machine they should buy. And they're saying, well, we should buy a Squeeze Master 3000. No, we should buy a Squeeze Master 5000. And people are bickering and arguing, and this whole discussion is taking too long. It is the job of the Scrum Master or the Project Manager or whoever's in charge of the meeting to say, okay, stop for a second. We need to parking lot this discussion, right? Parking lot this discussion. So you put this on P, all right? And we're going to move this off to the edge, and you're going to say, we'll continue this conversation after everybody has given their updates. Excuse me. We will continue discussion after everybody's given their update. You're not cutting people off to be a jackass. You're not trying to tell people that they shouldn't voice their opinion. You're simply moving the discussion so that it doesn't block people that don't need to be a part of it, right? Let's say it's a discussion that only involves 3 of the people out of everybody who's attending the meeting. You don't want to hold up the other 7 people, right? So you're going to parking lot the discussion, move it off to the side, and to talk about it later, right? So you discuss that. After that, after you decide what machine to buy, you move it back into play, and then just continue the process. And that's really important to keep things on track, because you don't want Scrum to turn into like some hour-long, 2-hour-long thing. It's not what it's for. If you need to talk about technical details, talk about it in, parking lot it, talk about it afterwards in a separate meeting, right? And a lot of people don't do that, and that's why their so-called Scrum meeting is no longer even a Scrum meeting. People are just sitting there watching you argue about BS, and people start daydreaming and start looking at their phones and blah, 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 and it's a giant waste of everybody's time. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't be that team, actually. So, I think we've covered moving from column 1 to the last column, to the done column. So from the backlog or / to do, all the way to done. Now there are variations, different flavors of how to do this. People are going to argue about what the right way to implement this is. There are going to be a lot of critics saying this isn't, how you do it by the book, blah, blah, blah. This isn't how you write stories, blah, blah, blah. Forget about all that. This is just about the overall idea, or the overall system of how to do it. And hopefully this has been simple enough to get you the understanding of how the system works. And after that, you can get all douchey about, stories have to be written this way with the, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Or point estimation has to be done with Fibonacci numbers, or has to be done with whatever numbers. That's up to you to figure out afterwards. This video is simply to talk about the process, the mechanics of how to do this process. And hopefully it's been helpful for you. And, let me know what else you want to know about this. And good luck. Hopefully it's going to be useful for you. Thanks very much.